Welcome back, everybody. Here we are once again, Secrets of Hammerfast. Oh, we made it. We made it. It's another week gone by. This is episode 8. We are playing D&D 5th edition tonight. Welcome, everyone. If you're watching us on Twitch or on YouTube, anywhere in the internet lands, we're super happy to be with you guys. Yay! Yay! I am Ken Breeze, Sperling's Beard, and you are watching the Secrets of Hammerfast stream. As I said, this is episode 8, and this is called Enter Sparkly Town Delight. And so this should be an interesting episode. We have some amazing players with us, having some amazing characters. I'll turn it over to them to introduce themselves at this point. Callie, what can you tell us about your character, please?
I am Callie, the halfling rogue, former street urchin. I have red hair with braids, and I wear kind of tattered leather armor, throw playing cards as my main weapon. And I am accompanied by a teacup pig named Rimpleton, who is my faithful companion.
Yes, Rimpy. Love it. Along with you is Alaron. Welcome back once again. Good to see you. What can you tell us about Alaron? You're welcome.
Alaron is a half-elf. He's bronze-skinned, and he wears scale mail. He carries with him a rapier, and he's a young man. So he's very strong and lithe and dope.
I love it. I love it. Along with us as well is Snorri. Welcome, Snorri. What can you tell us about yourself?
Thank you for having me back. Snorri is a ghost. Let's just get that out of the way up front.
That's true. That's true.
Snorri is a ghost dwarf wizard who is paranoid about dying again. That is a fear that I have carried through this whole week.
No.
What happens when you die twice? And Snorri is he's young. He's a spry young 62 years old, and he's very inquisitive about how the world works, and is enjoying traveling with his new set of friends. Also, he can breathe underwater. Or doesn't have to breathe underwater, so it's great.
Yeah, it doesn't have to breathe at all. And I love that, you've really carried that existential dread with you this week. It's, I'm sure, really informing the character at this point.
I woke up this morning paranoid about that.
And with us as well is Pinalero. What is up?
Yo, what's going on?
Sean, what can you tell us about Pinalero?
Pinalero is a satyr monk from the Prime Plane. He's trying to go to the same underwater monastery as everybody else. Successful at it. But he's trying. Definitely trying.
Yes, he is. A satyr monk. That's amazing. And,
I have a mandolin.
Yeah, tell us more. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you were underwater last week, right?
I was underwater. Yeah, we were underwater. I think I tried to punch a shark in the nose to knock it out. Didn't really work out, but I still respect the play, realistically.
Awesome. That's right. That's right. And with you as well, last but not least, is Mick Grimsby. Mick Grimsby. Yeah. Welcome back once again.
Thank you. Mick Grimsby is a dwarf barbarian, blue collar, pushing his sleeves up, plaid shirt wearing, trade guildsman barbarian.
Rootin' tootin'.
Stabbing, pickaxe wielding, the whole 9 yards.
That's right. Mick Grimsby bringing up the rear. That is awesome. So our crew is together. Last week, they set out from a mining town called Glimmer Peak is the name of the mining town. It's by a Glimmer Lake. You guys might be able to see it now, I would assume, sort of on our map. You can sort of see the lake that's surrounded by the mountains in sort of the bottom right hand of the screen. and you guys can definitely sort of tell that leaving the mine was pretty easy. You had all sort of formed a group together. Callie and Alaron and Snorri are sort of looking for this dwarf named Glitterdark, who is the head of the Lore Guild from the nearby city of Hammerfast, whereas Pinolero was heading back down into the castle because he had been there before, and he had met some of the denizens there. Asar, you might want to reconnect. Pinolero had basically met the group great, and had wanted to go back to get his panpipes. Whereas for McGrimsby was very worried about the miners who had been found dead on the shores of the Glimmer Lake. And being a member of the Trade Guild, had been sent to this area to make sure everything was in order. But everything is not in order, obviously. As you guys went to Glimmer Lake, where Alaron had left early to go sort of scout, and you found and met someone that you sort of hadn't known before. I'm sort of going to move our map now to the Glimmer Peak map, which you guys might remember fondly. It is a beautiful, beautiful sort of a vista that we sort of behold. It was early morning when you were arriving. And Glimmer Lake is, you remember, supposed to be maybe a Fey crossing, a place where there's a thin place between the Prime material plane and the Fey plane. And definitely the presence of Pinolero, the satyr, the faun, has definitely made it a little bit more likely that there is sort of that thin place here. Additionally, you guys sort of met someone who is also looking for this place called Sparkly Town Delight Castle. And that person called themselves Shalbanon, who you can see now, of course, on your screen. They were sort of a very sort of oily, very just sort of vague, sort of just an unknown entity. They were hiding behind a mask. They were by themselves, except for their fat-ass lemons that they were having with them. And though they seemed a little weird, you all decided to sort of join up, or rather allow them to join you, as you were making your way under the water of the lake towards Sparkly Town Delight Castle. You guys know that legend says that it once was a castle of the elves, of the Fae, and that unfortunately it sank underneath the lake. And that was hundreds of years ago, and no one's heard anything really about it since then. Though Pinolero has told you that there is a trout queen who rules there, who rules trout folk who dwell there. You guys last time had dived underneath the water with the help of some local magical plants called boodle pops, which you sang into, and they grew. Basically, you're able to put them on your heads, and their stalks glowed dimly as you're able to breathe basically air and still swim underwater at the same time. As you made your way towards the bottom of the lake, closer to the castle that you couldn't really see yet, it was still the morning time, and still is the morning time. So a lot of the bottom of the lake was in deep shadow. But out of that shadow, you saw a shark emerging, which you did in fact engage with, and most recently you killed. Its blood is in the water everywhere all around you. You can all see a figure swimming towards you, the figure you recognize to be Alaron, the half-elven warrior who you've traveled with and know from previous times. And so the five of you are there, but you've seen that something metal is sort of coming out of the belly of the shark. And as you guys are looking at it, it's dim down here, but by the light of the stalks of the boodle pops, as well, you're able to see it looks like a belt. But some sort of belt is coming out. They're a big belt buckle, a square belt buckle is sort of come out of the belly of the shark. It's encrusted with gore and blood, but it looks like it is intact. The belt buckle has a belt attached to it, it looks like. And both sides of it are sort of floating out, basically, almost like tendrils, as this belt begins to sort of sink under its own weight. You guys are all sort of right there, except for Aileron, who's maybe about 30 feet away. Snorri, you were inside the shark last we sort of left everyone. What are you guys doing right now?
I'm gonna reach for it.
Okay. Go ahead. You sort of reach for it, and your hand is sort of going through it a bit. What are other people doing? What are you doing, Callie?
I'm gonna watch as a ghostly hand pops out of the shark. Transfixed.
Pinalero, what are you doing?
I'm also incredibly curious, so I also want to inspect what's going on in there.
Cool.
See why the shark was there. But also a little bit of me is thinking, like, it aren't more into us. There were trout folk around here.
Yeah.
I don't like it. You know, I feel like we've caused too much commotion and can't stay still.
Right. Yeah. So you're sort of urging the party to move on a little bit. And Mick Grimsby, what are you doing?
Well, I believe when I stabbed my javelin into the shark's mouth, I felt that metal something or other. So I definitely want to know what that is. So I'm gonna snatch at the belt as well.
Okay. Cool. And I think this is going to be an opposed dexterity. Snorri, you have disadvantage, unfortunately, on this because of your ghostly form.
19.
Ooh.
That's cocked. You said dexterity?
Yeah.
10.
Nice. Mighty 10. So, Mick Grimsby, go ahead and describe. Yeah, you definitely snatched this thing.
Is there anything special about it? Do I notice anything right off the bat?
So that's so interesting that you asked that. You have dark vision, McGrimsby, you do, and Snorri does. Aileron, you have dark vision.
Yep.
McGrimsby, you look at this belt buckle, and staring back at you is a beautifully carved dwarven woman's face. She is healthy and virile, obviously. She looks grim, but... yeah, a bit grim, but sort of like a smirking grim. There's a bit of a smirk there. Just and you can only notice it because what's going on with you because you're a dwarf and you can sort of notice the intricacies of dwarven craftsmanship. You're very sure that a dwarf crafted this belt buckle on this belt, and as far as you know, the leather that make up the belt itself probably should have, dissolved within the shark. Normally that sort of stuff happens inside of animals, but it didn't with this belt. And so you get the sense that this belt might be something special. And that being the case, you can make a history check.
Sure.
Pinalero, I would love for you to make a nature check. And Aileron, you are swimming up on this, basically. You can see a large shark. It looks like it is bleeding. It is from a huge gaping wound in its chest cavity. It's turned over on its side. It is a large beast and is now sort of from its side turning sort of onto its belly. You can see Snorri, I would assume, sort of like pushing himself out of the sort of the corpse of the shark. Callie is sort of there. Pinalero is there, the fawn monk who you've met before, and McGrimsby, the dwarf that you've met before as well. And so, yeah, what are you doing, Aileron?
How will the sound travel from these bubbles?
It's muted for sure. You think you could probably shout at people who are within 60 feet of you, and they'd probably hear you to some degree. And so, yeah.
I swim up to Callie, as she's the person I'm most familiar with in the party, and I seem to have missed all the action again.
We got it this time. Maybe there'll be another shark.
Hopefully not, but I'm glad you were able to dispatch it.
You know, I stabbed it, I twisted it, it died.
Nice, good job. Looking around, are there any structures nearby?
None that you can see. You guys are sort of at more of an upper level of the lake at this point. Pinalero, what'd you get on your check?
That was 20.
And I think we lost Snorri on roll 20, which is okay. I'm sure he'll come back soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to reconnect.
14 then.
We can hear his ghostly voice.
Oh, his ghostly.
I feel him. I feel it.
What did you get, Pinalero, on your
14.
14?
14.
Yeah, you get the sense that this shark is probably one of many.
Okay.
And you get the sense that it's a freshwater shark, that there's probably more in the depths, probably more animals in general in the depths.
Okay.
The lake itself is full of life. It definitely is fished by nearby people. And who knows what else is down here in the depths. You didn't spend much time here. You swam for the top of the lake as quickly as possible the last time you left this place. But you have been able to relate to your friends that you basically arrived in Sparkly Town Delight, which the chat is saying sounds like a lewd anime, which is fair. Yes, that's fair. At any rate, when you arrived at Sparkly Town Delight Castle, it was basically in the dungeons, where you sort of came through a portal from the Fey plane. And after that, they sort of put you in jail until you charmed them, out of jail, to let you out. And after that, you sort of were trying to make friends, but after a while, obviously, it was very clear they did not want to be friends with you, per se. You were very restricted in your movements around the castle, but you were able to make it basically to sort of a ruined tower, and you were able to you were able to escape not from a ruined tower, but from the entryway. You escaped from the front. And so you swam for the top of the lake from there. So you're not exactly sure where the castle is, but you have swam from where you emerged from the lake, and that sort of is where you and your group are swimming from. Grimsby, what'd you get on your check, in your history check?
16.
16, that's great. Yeah, you recognize this belt as something that a dwarf would gift to a non-dwarf. That you think that this is some sort of friendship belt or something like that. That's the vibe that you're getting, especially because the back of it is etched, and it's etched with the name of perhaps the person who made it. The name is Creamhold.
Creamhold?
Yeah.
Creamhold.
Creamhold, yeah. Creamhold.
I wonder what Chat's going to say about that name.
Suitable for Sparkly Town Delight.
Very suitable.
McGrimsby
Yes,
sort of just like puts the belt on. Why not?
Cool.
He likes it.
Awesome. Yeah, you totally did put that belt on. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, you definitely are wearing the belt. And you definitely feel like what color is your beard?
It is like dark brown. Dark
Brown. Yeah. As you put the belt on, your beard starts to get a little longer and fuller. Like it seems like just grow. Yeah.
Do I notice this?
I mean, I think that when you put the belt on, you would get the surge of like a very. It's not testosterone. It's like whatever dwarves have. You know, it's like that. It's like
Dwarven equivalent.
Yeah, it's like
Fury.
pure. Like you feel very dwarfy right now. And that.
I always
Yeah,
have.
exactly. It's a powerful feeling that comes over you that you're very proud of your people, and yeah, I mean, visibly everyone can see that your beard grows. And that's very, very clear. But yeah, that other than that, I mean, you you feel like you feel like a paragon of your people.
Your beard looks
Always
I'm like a
so
dwarf.
nice.
You look good, man. I love it. You gotta tell me how you do it.
I'd let you wear the belt, but
Do you think I would grow a beard if I put the belt on?
dwarfs are also
That'd be very
curious.
It could be useful.
We can try it on. We can all have a turn after we get out of this water, maybe.
Yes.
Definitely.
So, I guess we should keep going
We
down.
need rope. Well, we certainly know how to get it.
Should we keep swimming before these trout folk come and find us?
Just keep swimming.
Definitely. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I'm not very fast.
Awesome. Well, I apologize for any technical difficulties you guys are having with Roll20. Yeah, I just hit the reconnect button, I guess. But it sounds like everyone can still hear what's going on. So we're just going to keep moving forward, and we'll just rock it. So your group.
Yeah, I'm going.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna try to reconnect to the call because my Wi-Fi I think is all messed up.
Okay. And so, yeah, you guys are basically swimming now underneath the lake. The Glimmer Lake is aptly named. I mean, it sort of sparkles when the light hits it just so. And as the sun is sort of rising, more of the lake is sort of becoming revealed to your vision. Though the bottom continues to be pretty shadowy and inky, difficult to see. However, you guys, as you're swimming, you can see that the stalks on top of your boodle pops are dim. Oh, they're Snorri. Except for Snorri, of course, who doesn't have a boodle pop, which is totally okay. But Sparkling Town Delight Castle does reveal and resolve itself as you are making your way forward. Shalbanon is with you. But at this point, he has sent Lemons, the fat ass, back towards the sort of fresh air of the top side. You get the sense that Shalbanon doesn't think that Lemons is really going to be able to survive what comes next, especially since Lemons was really what was drawing the shark to you all. So Shalbanon is unhappy about that, but doesn't really complain. But the six of you, as it were, are able to see Sparkly Town Delight Castle finally resolve. And it seems to you as if it is on the very bottom of the lake. And the bottom of the lake is very murky and muddy. And a lot of that mud has caked along the castle over the centuries that it's been down here. So much so that most of it is actually obscured by mud at this point in time. Not only is it obscured by mud, but different sorts of underwater plants have grown from that mud and sort of are covering a lot of the castle as well. You can all see that there are basically the four main walls of the keep have the outbuildings built into it. There are 4 towers on each of the corners of Sparkly Town Delight Castle, as well as a spire in the middle. Additionally, shooting out from what you tend to think of as the front seems to be some sort of covered promenade that ends in a gatehouse or a barbican, if you're familiar with that term. It basically is a 2-story sort of a gatehouse that acts as the entryway to the castle itself. You guys are a good distance away from the castle. However, you can definitely see that the bottom of the lake isn't as still as you may have thought it might be. It is very murky down here, but you are able to see large shapes moving on the bottom of the lake. They seem to be sort of large crustaceans. They are medium-sized creatures. They're sort of as big as a horse or as big as a draft horse, a Clydesdale. They're crabs that seem to be moving almost in small herds along the bottom of the lake as you guys are sort of making your way further and further down. You can definitely see that there are other sort of groups of sharks, and there have been some that have definitely gone after the dead shark that you left behind. You guys were very happy to swim away from that sort of scene as quickly as possible. As you're looking at the castle itself, as I mentioned, most of it is covered in slime and muck and plants. But you can definitely tell that there is one tower that looks like it is ruined. It is basically, for lack of a better term, sort of the northwest tower. You guys can also see that one tower is uncovered, has no muck or mud or plants on it. As the northeast tower, it is still gleaming. And as the sun filters down from above, you can all see that it is still gleaming. You guys can sort of get the sense that there may be multiple entryways to this place. There's definitely the main entryway that Pinalero came from, the front, the gatehouse, the Barbican. You can see the ruined tower as well has chunks of it just out of it. You think it's probably submerged, but that might be a way to enter. And there may be other ways as well that you might be able to tell once you get closer. But you guys are effectively, if you think of like a shallow and medium and deep sort of a depth of the lake, you guys are sort of ending the medium depth and approaching the deep depth where you're starting to see all this underwater life more clearly. What would you guys like to do?
So, which way would you like to enter?
I guess if there's a front door, that might be the most obvious route.
What about Pinalero? Didn't he escape from here?
I went through the front. It was pretty intense. If there's another option, I would explore it, but it's definitely possible. It's just pretty intense that way.
Why don't we try to go after that the tower that's still gleaming? It seems like it might be the place.
The best place.
I like
since we can swim right to the top.
We can look in
Also,
there.
yeah, we can at least look in.
That's interesting. As you all sort of look now towards the gleaming tower, you can definitely see it's odd. It looks as if the top level of it there's like some sort of murky cloud or something around it. And you guys are starting to realize that it's not a cloud. It's actually, it looks like a school of fish or something, like I was moving around it. So it sort of makes it a little hard to see. You can also tell that the center spire it seems to have a bulbous middle and then a very thin top. And that thin top has, for lack of a better term at this point, satellite dishes on it.
Okay.
I have a question about the fish.
Yes.
Are they carnivorous or are they dangerous to us, really?
Which fish are we talking about right now?
The ones that are swimming around the tower.
Oh, they're pretty far away. You're not exactly sure what type of fish they are. You can make a perception check, Alaron, if you'd like, at disadvantage.
Oh, sweet. I got a 17.
Nice, yeah. You think that there are basically You think that there are actually not only like sharks over there, basically, is what it looks like to you, like of a size of the one that you guys have faced already, but you actually see the shadowy figures of trout folk. They are humanoids. They have the heads, basically, of sort of fish, of it looks like of trout. They have fins coming off their heads. It looks to you like they are only like one or two, but they are definitely armed. It looks like they are wearing, or rather, they're. It looks to you like that they have, like their arms are really armored or something like that. Like their arms are really bulky, and so they are, but they're just floating, and they just sort of then use their legs to sort of move themselves around every so often. It's hard to tell exactly what's going on with them, but you do see them with your amazing roll.
I tell everyone that I see the trout folk in the distance. I point out where they are. Should we worry about engaging with them for now, or should we just, like, we know we can avoid it eventually and just start here?
I think we should avoid it. I would prefer to not die again.
Okay. We don't have to
I
fight one
wonder
of
if
them.
they're responsible for killing all those miners.
These people,
If they're responsible, I got the word for them. It's huzzah.
Maybe they're not so mean, but they probably are.
Yeah, probably.
All I'm saying is if we get in another fight, I want more than a ladle to hit people with.
You didn't prepare a spell?
fair.
Yes, but I don't know how well those components are going to work underwater.
Fair point. Fair point.
Oh no.
All right, let's try to get inside the castle.
Yeah.
Let's. The glimmering way is covered and surrounded by fish. Maybe we should try a different entrance. Perhaps the broken tower.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Snorri, you should maybe hit reconnect. We can't see your video, but that's okay. We can hear you clear as a bell. Cool. So you guys are sort of heading towards the ruin tower. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yes.
Awesome. So what is your general party order? Like who's in the front, who's in the middle, who's in the back? If you're in the front, just raise your hand real quick. Okay, 1, 2, 3. If you're in the back, raise your hand. All right, awesome. Cool. So we basically have a front and a back. We basically have a front and a back. Shalbanon is also in the rear with Callie and Alaron. Shalbanon is, as far as you can tell, looks to have sort of a male figure as you guys are swimming. Their robes are really sticking to their body at this point. You don't see any feminine curves or anything like that, but who knows? They are still wearing their mask. They don't have like a tail or like, or like hooves or anything like that. They seem to just be like a regular humanoid. You're not sure what exactly their race is, but they're nothing weird apparently, or out of the ordinary, as it were. And so you guys are all swimming towards the ruined tower, and that's exactly what it is. It looks to you as if the mud has sort of caked up this entire thing. It is, in fact, sort of one of the more muddy places of the castle. You guys are much closer now. I would ask for everyone to make a stealth check at this point, please. As you guys are, I would assume, trying to stay hidden as you're making your way closer and closer to the castle. You can see, as you're getting closer, it looks like that there are trout folk who are like wrestling in like crabs into the front entrance, like that they've hunted or killed or something like that. It also looks like they're dragging in the corpses of sharks, like they're swimming in with them. That seems to be happening sporadically from that front entrance. Where you guys can see the Shining Tower, it is definitely surrounded by sharks. Like it's very clearly like guarded by sharks that are sort of surrounding it, as well as, since they've been pointed out to you, trout folk who seem to have these bulky armor sort of deals on their arms. And instead of holding weapons, they seem to have blades that are sort of coming off the sides of these sort of armored it looks like crab armor that they've sort of created for themselves, and then fashioned with these sort of blades. And it looks like one of them has like a sort of a war claw that's just sort of attached to this sort of like armored arm. And so it's like that's sort of what they have going on up there. And you guys can definitely see them, but let's see if they can see you. What'd you get, McGrimsby?
21.
21. Pinalero.
15.
15. Great. And how about for you, Snorri?
About 19.
Oh, wow. Alaron
10.
and Callie?
11.
11.
Yeah.
This is a group check. More than half of you made it. So you guys are doing good, as you are definitely able to sort of swim down without drawing any attention.
Nice.
You can see that it looks like the top of the central tower also is free of muck and mud. You can see some dim lights coming from certain parts of the castle. Specifically, there are like windows in like the second floor of the Gatehouse Barbican, where it seems like there may be some dim light. And then from different levels of different towers in the castle, specifically sort of the tower that's now kitty corner to you, you're in the northwest, so the southeast castle actually has a lot of lights coming from the windows there. Additionally, the southwest castle does as well, even though the southwest castle is just totally covered by slime and mud and sort of plants. You guys are on the northwest castle, I apologize. The northeast castle is the northeast tower is the Shining Tower. You guys are at the Ruined Tower. And you guys are sort of seeing that it looks like the stonework here is elven sort of craftsmanship, but it's been like ripped out somehow, like just big rents and rips. Looks like a very violent sort of entry. Additionally, you guys can see it's very dark in there. And last but not least, as it were, this entire castle has a very shell-centric motif. There are a lot of like seashells, which is odd since you guys are in a lake. But there's also, along with the shells, there are crabs as well that are sort of shown in different sort of artistic reliefs on some of the stonework you're seeing.
Can I do a stonework check to see
Hell,
if I can tell?
Hell yes, McGrimsby. You can make a history check and add your proficiency bonus twice.
21.
Nice roll. Yeah, you are 100% sure that this craftsmanship is so fine that you think it might be magically wrought. You don't think that people could create this without magic. Your people, specifically your family, but your people in general, the dwarves are expert craftsmen and women, and specifically masons and builders. And so this stonework is amazing. It really is. But it looks to you as if some sort of it looks to you almost as if like a battering ram, a really big one, is like smashed in different sections of this top tower. It looks to you like every tower is probably about 3 or 4 stories. You're not exactly sure. 3 probably. And so every tower has 3 stories. The gatehouse only has 2 stories, as do most of the walls, as it were, the outbuildings. But all the rest of the towers have 3 stories each. So you guys are sort of swimming into the top story of this tower. Alaron, Pinalero, McGrimsby, you guys are in front. You can see that the opening that's ahead of you is dark, and it looks like only probably a medium-sized creature could get in there, not a large creature. You guys can all fit, but it looks like you have to go one at a time. Who's going first?
I'll go first.
Awesome. You swim in. Who's going second? Grimsby, which means Pinalero is going third. So you guys are all going in. Pinalero, it's very dark in here for you. You can't really see anything at this moment in time. Though The dim light of the Boodle Pop stem is giving you like sort of like a candle sort of aura around you, like you can see sort of 5 feet around. So for McGrimsby and Alaron, can you both make perception checks for me, please? Thank you.
That is going to be a 6.
17.
17. Nicely done. Very cool. It's odd in here. It looks like I said, this place is totally submerged underwater. You're seeing inside the tower now. It's probably about 10-foot span. You can see down to the floor. It looks like it's all in here. There's mud and plants growing around everything. It sort of has a conical top, this tower does. The inside of it is a good 30 feet sort of wide, basically. It looks like that there were probably wooden dividers that sort of broke up the space, but they've all been sort of smashed or rotted. And so it's just a big open space. You can see down on the floor, it looks like there are stairs that go down. They're underwater as well, though it's still quite dark down there. Additionally, though, in here, oddly enough, it looks like someone moved boulders in here or something like that. There are more than half a dozen of them sort of on the floor, attached to the walls. It's a weird sort of nestled in the mud. Not sort of what you guys are seeing, Nick Grimsby and Alaron. Pinolero, you can definitely see it looks like that there is one sort of next to you as well as you're sort of floating around. What would you guys like to do?
I motion for Callie and Snorri to come in.
I swim in.
Definitely.
And,
Cool, yeah.
And then I search the area for, well, I skim the whole area, see if there's anything of interest.
Cool. Awesome. And how about you, Mick Grimsby?
Yeah, I'm just gonna sort of. Do I see any? Do you say there are any other exits around here?
There are 2 other exits. There's basically another hole in the wall of the tower
To the outside?
on the other side,
Okay.
and then the stairs. Those are really the only exits that go down, and those are the only exits you see.
I'm gonna go to the stairs and just sort of see if there's anything out in the hallway or anything that could come in and get us while we're in here.
Cool. Yeah. So you start swimming down to the stairs. Pinolero, anything you're doing?
I'm gonna back McGrimsby up because that seems like a pretty plausible idea.
Good call. And feel free to reconnect too. We lost your video, but whatever. Cool. Callie and Snorri. Shalbanon sort of follows you guys in and is like, "Well, this is cozy."
I've got Rimpy on swivel. He's going to be like watching Shalbanon no matter where Shalbanon is in relation to me.
Awesome. Yep, totally. Snorri, Callie, you guys can make perception checks if you'd like as you come in. Callie,
Sure.
it's hard for you to see sort of what's going on, so you're at disadvantage on this because it's, like I said, quite dark in here.
8.
8. And Snorri?
Natural 20.
Oh, nice. Snorri, you are not surprised as all of the sort of boulder-shaped rocks begin to shiver and heave themselves up as claws start to emerge out from underneath all of them, and giant crabs are revealed. Let's all roll initiative.
Oh, no!
I thought I was going to see something nice.
Awesome. Very good.
Played with my heart.
I sure did. What'd you get, Callie?
I got a 12.
A 12. Great. And for you, Alaron?
19.
Great. And for you, Snorri?
I got a 3.
A mighty 3. And for you, Pinolero?
I got 14.
14. Great. And last but not least, Nick Grimsby?
14 as well.
14 as well. Cool. Who wants to go first between you guys? You guys can just figure it out.
Pinolero, you can go first.
I
All right.
appreciate it.
Cool. So McGrimsby and Pinalero, you guys were swimming down, and McGrimsby, it was easier for you to see what's going on. It's an odd thing for you. You can see down the stairs. They sort of curve, it looks like, along the wall. And there's another wall sort of next to them, so you're sort of hedged in on both sides. They are, the stairs are probably about 6 feet wide or so. And as you see them curve down, it looks like they're curving down into a chamber that's lit. It still looks like it's underwater as far as you can tell, but there's definitely illumination that's coming from down there. And it looks like sort of a dim illumination, a sort of a bluish green. So it's sort of twinkling off the water. It almost looks like the bottom of like a jacuzzi or something like that. That's sort of what it looks like. And that's what you sort of see as you get down there. Alaron, you, in fact, everyone is surprised except for Snorri. So the crabs go before you, Snorri. And so they will sort of get, basically just sort of like shake themselves off from their hiding place. Their claws are coming out, and they seem to be very interested in all of you. And so there are 8 of them, and so they are coming after all of you. I think for you, McGrimsby, that they're basically 2 of them are coming after you. So McGrimsby, for you,
Bring it on.
Yep, it'll be a miss, and then one of them crits you, unfortunately, for 7 points of damage as it just sort of falls on you and sort of rips into your arm. Pinalero, you're missed. You are clawed, Snorri, for 4 points of damage. And you are clawed, Alaron, for 4 points of damage. Alaron, it attempts to grapple you as well as it sort of grabs you. McGrimsby, you're grabbed as too around the arm. Callie, it will be a miss versus your armor class, just barely though. And so there are 8 of them. They're all sort of swimming around. Snorri, it's your turn. What would you like to do? They're not making any noise, but their weird little eye stalks are like just juking around.
When you say they're swimming, are they on the ground or are they like starting to float up?
Yeah, they're starting to float up. Like they're like pushing themselves off the ground and the walls, and they're starting to float up and float towards sort of what they want to be attacking. There are a few on the ground of the tower floor that are near Grimsby and Pinalero.
Okay. I'm going to...
Are they arms reach?
Hold on. We'll talk on your turn. It's Snorri's turn right now.
Sorry.
Snorri's going to panic, and whichever one's closest to him, he's going to take out some tiny tarts in the feather and try to hold on to them and cast hideous laughter underwater.
Okay. I don't know what it is, Pat, but people just they're not into it. They're not into it. Your spell fails. Your spell fails, unfortunately. As you're not.
I hold the pastry and it just like crushes in my hand, and you see like.
And the crab is just all like clip, 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 just like not really sure what's going on. Alaron, it's your turn. What would you like to do?
I'm going to, in a flourish, remove my rapier from its scabbard and dart towards the nearest creature and start slashing at it underwater.
Cool. Go for it. Make your attack, please. Yeah, there's one right next to you that was attacking you.
I got an 8.
8 is not good enough. As basically you try and pierce the crab with your rapier, and its armor is just really thick as you sort of scrape along it. Pinalero, it's your turn.
Actually.
Oh, yeah?
I'm feeling frustrated and I push farther. I'm
Yes,
going to
you
make
do.
another attack.
Action surge.
Ooh.
All right, that is a 16.
Awesome. Well done. With your 16, that is a success. How much damage do you do?
I do 11 points of damage.
Awesome. Additionally, I am moving us to a new map, and I am revealing the tower for us. So it's going to be in the top left-hand corner of the new map, and hopefully you can all see it.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely try and zoom in on there so we can all see it really well. Cool. Pinolero, it was your turn, but how much damage did you do, Aileron? Sorry.
11.
11.
A lemon.
Jeez, you bloody the creature as you do push forward. You were scraping along it, and then you just do in fact push your rapier right into it, and it sort of is. You even underwater, you hear the vibrations of it, sort of like squealing, sort of like, and it's like its legs are moving around, its arms are moving around. It's obviously in a lot of pain. Pinolero, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Mm-mm. I would. Can I grab one? Can I like? Am I at arm's reach from it?
Definitely, yeah. One attacked you, is right next to you, and is within arm's reach.
I want to literally grab it and see if I could like rip its claw.
Nice, yeah. Go ahead and make a martial arts roll.
For sure. That was a 10.
10 total. You are able to try and throw yourself basically on it, but you're not able to hold on to it. It's almost like a bucking bronco. You sort of thrown yourself on, and it just sort of bounces you right off. You can use your martial arts again to attack it, though, if you would like.
Yeah, it's like bucking its way. I'm just gonna give it a swift kick.
Yes.
From there.
Your hoof
That is
darts
a
forward.
13.
13 is that what you rolled on the die, or is that total?
No, that's what I just rolled.
All right, don't forget
That's
to
what I rolled
add
with that.
5 to whatever you roll.
Okay, so that makes it 18.
18 is a total success, and you should roll your damage, which is 1d6, I believe, plus 3.
9.
9, did you say?
Yes, sir.
Great, yeah, you bloodied this creature as well, as you like basically smash right through its carapace with your foot as you dash into it. Well done. Yeah, your hoof definitely smashes right into it. McGrimsby, there are 2 next to you. What would you like to do?
To the one that has like grappled my arm, I'm going to just pull him in close, and I just say, "Big mistake," and I just really and then push up my other sleeve, and I go into a rage.
Rah! Nice.
Yes.
And then I'm going to take my javelin and try to just put it right up through its the bottom of its carapace, like up through its belly.
Yes, do it.
And it's going to be 16.
Success.
Ooh.
And that's going to be plus 6. It's going to be 8 damage.
8 damages. Nice. Yeah, you bloody this creature as well as you do shove your javelin right up its crab hole. And it is also sort of twitching, but it still has its claw clamped on you. You have not been able to escape from it. And same for you, Aileron. It sort of has you clamped, I believe. It is the crab's turn. All the crabs go. McGrimsby, they are not able to get through your rage. Pinolero, the one on you, as you boot it, it sort of throws itself upwards, coming at you with both of its claws, and snaps right into your leg as you take 4 points of damage. Snorri, you are also, it slashes through you again as you take 4 points of damage. Aileron, its other claw comes at you and clamps you on the other side for another 4 damage.
Max, what he rolled?
What's that?
Max, what he rolled? May I ask what he rolled?
Of course, yes, of course. I got a 19.
Actually, with my rapier right in time, I block his attack.
Yes, you do with your awesome defense.
Duelist. Flourish.
Yes, your defensive duelist flourish. Love it. Yeah, you do knock the crab right away. And Callie, the one on you attacks you as you take 4 points damage as it grabs you around the leg, basically. And so they've been coming off the walls and the ceiling and the floor. It looked like that they were sort of rocks that had just been sort of lying there, I guess, or sort of hanging there. But now they've all sort of come to life, and the whole room is just a sort of a churning mass of water and crab arms and legs and your guys, and now you're bloodying them, so there's sort of like fluids are starting to leak out in the water as well. It's sort of taking on a greenish tinge. It's all dark underneath here. You guys only are fighting by very dim light of your boodle pop stems, and those of you with dark vision. As all that is going on, you all see what looks like an even deeper darkness sort of manifests in this place. And as that happens, you guys can see that one of the crabs basically it's like one of its claws just disappears. And tracing that darkness back to its epicenter, you see Shalbanon simply pointing their finger forward as they have cast some sort of magic to destroy this creature. They look, if a mask could look happy with itself, the mask looks happy with it. Callie, it is your go. What would you like to do?
It looks like Aileron's in trouble, so I'm going to try to swim up to the other side of that crab that's grabbing onto him and attack.
Cool. There is a crab next to you that will attack you as you move away. And it does claw you for 4 damage.
Too bad.
Yeah, they're just crabs everywhere. You're swimming. It's like, it's not a big space, right? It's sort of just like, 30 feet by sort of 10 feet. But it's just sort of, there's tons of stuff going on here.
Would we be flanking it technically, or is Aileron restrained, or...
Aileron will definitely allow you to do sneak attack damage if you strike.
All right, gonna try for it. Boom. I rolled really bad. I might have to use my inspiration to re-roll.
Might have to.
Not this time, crabs. Oh, roll off the table. Ooh, I got a 22.
That is totally a success. How much damage?
It is 10 damage.
Nicely done. Yeah, you destroy that crab. You're just sort of. Can you describe for us how you destroy it?
I wait until it's about to kind of like throw Aileron like around with its claw, and then I stab it right under the claw, and its gizzard twists around. Guts everywhere.
That crab.
Crab meat for dinner.
Crab meat all around.
Red Lobster.
Nice.
All around.
Love that Red Lobster. Cool. After Callie, it's Snorri's turn.
I'm gonna at this point go for the one closest to me and just upset at the pastry sort of floating away. He looks at Shalbanon and goes, "Glad you finally did something." And he takes out the ladle and tries to scoop a crab's eye out.
Nice. Love it.
And natural 20.
Oh, roll 2d6 damage, please.
2d6. Which color dice do I want to use?
And you can add your strength to whatever you roll.
That is a 5.
Nice. Cool. You definitely bang one of their eyes. You're not able to scoop it out, but you definitely basically knock it in the eye, and its eye sort of closes shut, so it's like a one-eyed sort of crab that you're fighting. The one-eyed crab. Awesome. Aileron, it's your go. You and Callie are free. There aren't any near you. There are 7 others. All your friends are engaged, basically, and Shalbanon is as well. You see, Shalbanon has actually been sort of clamped on by one of them.
McScrimby is the only one fighting 2, though, right?
That's right.
So I'm going to go help that ally. I swim towards him and strike forward with my rapier.
Go for it.
Where did I put my other... Oh, there it is. That is a 15.
Success. That is their armor class exactly. These creatures have a 15 armor class.
Sweet. That's 9 damage.
Awesome. Yeah, you bloody the one next to him. So they're both bloodied next to McGrimsby.
That is going to be end of my turn.
Cool. It is your turn, Pinalero. What would you like to do, bud?
Everyone, I just kicked one guy. Everyone's good. There's about like 5 more.
Yeah, there's like 7 more, basically.
7.
Yeah, they're sort of all around you.
7 more.
Yeah. There's only one right next to you. Your companions are fighting off the rest of them. But
I'm sort of like, do I have any AOE? Like,
that would be your fists. You could do your fist right now, and you would probably hit 3 of them, including the ones that are McGrimsby and Alaron are fighting.
I'll do it. Is
Awesome.
that Fist of Four Thunders?
It is. Can you describe for us what this looks like?
The Fist of Four Thunders, it's like higher fist becomes engulfed in lightning, but it's like it's like kind of like a 3 cheese quesadilla. It's like blue, yellow, white colors. You know, each fist has different colors. I push them both back. I like sort of punk back a little bit and just fly towards somebody.
Oh, exactly. The power. You guys just see power radiating from Pinalero, basically. His fists, his eyes, as he's just sort of floating in the water, and then just sort of like jets forward down, and then sort of lets loose this electro booming fist. I need you to roll a 8-sided die twice, please, Pinalero.
8-sided die twice.
Yeah.
Add that up.
Yep.
That is a 15.
A 15, nicely done. Yeah, you destroy all 3 of them. As basically your lightning sonic damage, they just sort of pop, 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 and they just sort of, it's just like blood and sort of shell pieces and sinew. There's not even blood in crabs. It's more like just ichor. That sort of green ichor is now sort of floating where they all used to be, and sort of the energy around you sort of like coalesces back into your body. And you obviously have let loose a very powerful attack. Additionally, though, there is sort of like a booming sound. So it's like the sonic wave sort of shoots out from where all of you are. And you guys get the sense if anyone were to be relatively close to your location, they probably will have noticed this wave. But that you don't think that like the people over at the Shining Tower may have been close enough to see it, but someone's closer than that maybe. But that's what you guys see. But yeah, definitely a fantastic display of martial prowess, as only 4 of them remain now. The one attacking Snorri, the one that had been attacking Callie, the one that was attacking Shalbanon, and yeah, the sort of one that's sort of floating off by itself. What would you like to do, McGrimsby?
I look around and I sort of see Snorri with his like ladle.
Yep.
And I'm like, this guy probably needs some help. So I'm close enough to swim over there, right?
100%, yeah.
Okay. So I swim over there and I'm gonna just attack it with my my javelin again.
Go ahead.
22.
Success. How much damage do you do?
7.
Please describe
Sorry.
for us. How you defeat one eye.
It was 5.
That's fine.
Okay.
No different.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So I stab through it and I.
You're doing rage damage though, right?
Rage. Oh yeah, you're right.
What
So it
is
would be
that?
+2. So what do we? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I stab through it, right up through the eye. So you help me out. You know, you kind of start.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I listened to
And I yank it out. I say something like, "Ladle me up some crab soup" or something like that.
There it is. So
But I mean it in like the most respectful way as a fellow dwarf.
Awesome. Yeah, Shalbanon fires another blast directly into the crab, but its claw sort of knocks their hand away, and sort of this dark blast of energy, instead it sort of scores the ceiling of the tower, and you guys can see sort of a mortar breaking off and sort of floating in the water of the lake as just destruction is wrought. Callie, it's your go.
So how would throwing a card be underwater? Would that not work?
So that's a great question. So it's very difficult to do those things. Basically, most ranged weapons don't work underwater. The only ones that work underwater are going to be something like a crossbow or something like maybe like a spear, possibly. But a card, it probably will not. You'll not be able to throw it underwater.
Makes sense. Well, Callie will grab a crab leg that's floating by, a cooked one, and bite it.
Nice.
Yummy.
Nice.
Yes?
If I may, free action. I motion that you could take my crossbow.
Ooh.
You guys can talk. Your boodle pops allow you to talk.
Yeah, so I just said that, Callie. I used my free action to do the thing I just did in real life to you.
Ooh. I'll kind of scramble over there and lift it off of his belt. It's probably about as big as me.
It's my crossbow.
Yeah, it's pretty big, but you definitely are able to use your feet on it. And remember, you're basically floating in the water to sort of cock it. You put both your feet on it and pull it back, almost like in a rowing motion as you sort of get it ready. And yeah, you can definitely fire it if you would like to.
I've never done this before.
That's
I'm
the
going to
best
aim it
thing.
at the crab that is fighting Shal. I guess is Shalbanon's getting kind of beat up. Is anyone else?
Shalbanon has been attacked. That is a true thing, and they've taken some damage.
All right. Callie's thinking if I miss, I'll just hit Shalbanon, and who cares? So.
Shalbanon does count as an ally at this point, so if you do strike, you will do sneak attack damage.
Awesome. So I got a 20. So
That's a success. How much damage do you do?
Let's see. That is a 14, 19.
You murderer! Please describe it.
I take aim, being like, this hopefully works kind of the same as everything else, and the bolt flies through and just goes completely out the other side of the crab and sticks in the wall.
Totally, and you are like blasted backwards, so you almost do like a 180 in the water, like just from the sort of force of the blast, and it's sort of almost like 0G, right, where you're just sort of pinwheeling in air for a second.
Rimpy floats in a just. All right, that's it for me.
Snorri, there are 2 crabs left. One is sort of on the ceiling and seems to be descending towards your group, and one is on the floor and seems to be making their way towards Pinalero and Nick Grimsby and Alaron.
Okay. I think Snorri's going to be confident off of helping destroy that previous crab. And this time is going to go for the one that is coming from the ceiling.
Yeah.
And he's going to get as close as possible and then take out his little bottle of black ink and try to just like squirt it in the eyes of it. I'm just going to try to blind it.
What are you squirting it with?
I had a bottle of black ink.
That's right. You totally did. Yeah. You squirt it right in its eyes, and it's totally blind. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You totally ink the water. It's basically the ink is all in the water, but you're able to concentrate it right on its eye stalks. So it's like eye stalks are totally just covered in ink, and it's trying to blink them free, but it's definitely not able to. Yeah, definitely. Well done. Go ahead and subtract your ink vial.
No.
Yeah, hey, buddy, you just poured your vial of ink into the lake. No.
I'm keeping the bottle.
Yes.
I'm keeping the bottle, not the ink.
Keep vial written down for sure. Awesome. After Snorri, it's back at the top of the round with Alaron.
Okay, who is currently still... Is Pinularo? No, he just killed everything. McGrimsby did the same. Where are the other crab?
There's one on the ground that's scuttling towards you and McGrimsby and Pinolero, and there's another one on the ceiling that was floating downwards but is now covered in a cloud of ink.
Oh, I'm going to try and dispatch the ones blinded for the moment.
Okay.
I'm going to
Go
swim
ahead.
up and stab up.
Cool. Yeah. Go ahead and make your attack. You have advantage.
Oh, nice.
It is blind.
I crit.
Hey, bam, 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 bam. Well done.
I crit a 19, so I don't know if I still get the horn.
You do. Any crit is worth a 19. I mean, a horn.
So I've never critted in 5th edition.
Well, there are different ways you could do it, but the way that I like to do it is that you roll your weapon damage twice, or you roll all your damage twice, depending on if you're sneak attacking, or if you're a paladin, or if you have some other, extra damage dice. Basically.
Coolio.
So you will roll twice your weapon damage, and then add your dexterity, and any other damage bonuses on top.
That's 13 damage.
13 is exactly how many hit points they have. Please describe for us. How you defeat
I swim up, and with my momentum, I drive my rapier right into its carapace, in between the joints of its carapace, rather.
It's chitinous carapace?
It's chitinous carapace. And push its body off of my blade as I swim backwards.
Awesome. Well done. Totally. Yeah, the crab goes still, just sort of, and there's one left. It's on the ground. Pinalero, it's probably about 10 feet away from you or so. What would you like to do?
Okay. I think it's time to just take care of that, right?
I guess so.
I agree.
10 feet away on the ground. I just want to just like stomp on it.
Yeah, totally. Make your martial arts attack.
Martial arts attack. Got 18.
Success. And how much damage?
The damage is...
Cool. Yeah, you strike into it. And its carapace, it's sort of cracks a little bit. It's shell. But you haven't broken through yet. You can make your second martial arts attack.
Okay. And that is 9.
9 is no good, unfortunately. Mick Grimsby, it's your go. What would you like to do?
I'm just going to turn towards whatever the last is. Just one left, right?
Yep, it's on the ground.
Yep. Am I near it?
You sort of swam up to be near Snorri, but you can easily swim back down.
I'm just going to turn, and I'm in a rage, so I'm just going to take my javelin and just throw it as hard as I can.
Yes, make your attack, please.
It's going to be 23.
That's a success. How much damage do you get?
Man, I cannot roll. It's going to be 7 again.
Yeah, please describe.
Yeah, so I wind back and throw the javelin. It finds its way through the ink and the ichor and the muck, and it just drives itself right into the top of the crab and just sticks it straight into the ground.
Indeed, and with that, all of the giant crabs fall still. This place is a swirling mess of ink and the blood of your party, the ichor from the crabs, bits of their shells. But it definitely looks like there's a lot of meat here, a lot of shell here, a lot of different things like that. But you guys, is anyone bloodied at this point? Is anyone at half hit points or below?
I am.
Callie is bloodied. She got ripped up by the crabs.
Ow.
I'm very close. I'm one away from him.
Cool. Yeah, and so you guys, maybe, you guys are a little beat up. But the crabs have been dispatched. You haven't seen any trout folk around this area or anything that would make you think that you've been spotted. But you have definitely entered the topmost level of this ruined tower. What would you guys like to do next?
I would like to search the area.
Yeah.
Search the area, Callie, what are you doing?
I'm gonna try to take a short rest and use some hit dice.
So a short rest is an hour. So
Oh, it
you
is?
might want to bring that up. Yeah, you might want to bring that up in game and discuss that with people.
They're like, I am bleeding a lot, as you can see from the blood trail behind me. Do you guys do you have any kind of healing magic or?
I look over at Callie and I just pop out a little potion vial and toss it through the water at her.
Thanks.
And I'm going to, I bring out another one for myself and I chug
Well, before you chug it, McGrimsby, you realize that opening up a potion underwater might be weird. And second,
Yeah,
You
I had.
you don't really see a way to get it through your boodle pop, but that in itself becomes sort of a concern because all of you who are wearing boodle pops, you're realizing that the stalks that are on top that were glowing, that they are starting to dim. And with that dimming, you are getting the sense that that the boodle pop itself is starting to basically grow larger and larger, almost like it's going to sort of discorporate at some point.
So I quickly relay to everyone that down those stairs, I saw some light coming from some magical light source coming from the bottom of the stairs. Maybe there's something else magical and airy down there.
Let's do it.
Let's
I say
do
if
it.
we don't
I
find
say let's do
anything in the next room, we should return afterwards.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm gonna. Can I go into the ethereal plane and scout ahead?
Totally. Do you want to talk with your party about that?
Yeah, So I'm just gonna, guys. If there's something downstairs, let me go check and make sure it's not more crabs. That's the last thing we need right now. I'll be right back.
I love it.
Snorri takes the lead, going to scout. He enters the ethereal plane. You stop seeing the sort of semi-opaque or opaque form of the ghost dwarf. It's sort of, if you remember, sort of, he's wearing robes that sort of trail off into sort of, he doesn't have legs. He just sort of has sort of a trail off of vapor. But he is now disappeared. And in the place of him, there's just a very, if you didn't know it was there, you'd probably miss it. It's just a very slight sort of shimmer of like some sort of disturbance in reality. As that disturbance then sort of floats away and it quickly disappears. How long are you guys going to wait for him if he doesn't come back?
Less than a minute.
Yeah.
Savage.
Anything more than that, I'm going to go down too.
1 minute. That sounds like a good benchmark there. So
I like
he's
it.
not back in 1 minute. You guys go after it.
Yeah.
Snorri, you go down to the second level of the tower. It is less ruined here. You can see some places where maybe parts of the masonry, smaller parts, have broken out, and this room is underwater. But you recognize very clearly as you come down the stairs that it's only half underwater. It's almost like a perfect diagonal where the stairs end. It looks like maybe about 5-6 feet of water, and then it's just open space. And you can see that the light that McGrimsby mentioned is coming from runes that have been etched into the floor, the ceilings, and the walls that seem to be acting like some sort of barrier to keep the water from moving any further into the chamber. So you get the sense that it's sort of the water rushed in here, but then the magic stopped it from completely submerging this chamber. And this chamber, as far as you can see it right now, you guys can sort of see that when you sort of came in, there are sort of like, it looks like that there are sort of maybe some murals on the walls here that haven't been destroyed by the water. It looks like there's some furniture in here as well, though it's very sort of thread worn and desiccated. The furniture looks to you like, for lack of a better term, like beanbag chairs, divan. It looks like, yeah, there are like, at one point were probably quite rich sort of velvety sort of couches that look very thread sort of bare. They look like that the velvet has been rubbed off of them. They also look like they are maybe a little wet, and so they're mildewy. Like you can sort of see discolorations where they were once a very dark maroon. Now they've faded and sort of lightened. But you don't see anyone else in here. You see some murals on the wall, like I mentioned, and then you see more stairs going down.
Okay. Before I exit this room, can I? I'd like to see what I know about this kind of force field. like to see if I know that organic material can pass through it.
Yeah, go ahead and make an Arcana check.
13.
Cool. Alaron, you said you were investigating the room that you're in. You can, in fact, everyone, Pinalero, McGrimsby, Alaron, Callie, you can all make investigation checks. It's an intelligence check.
8.
8.
6.
6.
19.
19 for Alaron.
Good shit.
Pinalero, what'd you get?
I got 20.
Nice! Alaron and Pinalero, you two are the only ones that recognize this.
I've been here before.
You think that you maybe have seen this place before. You haven't been here before, but you are getting your bearings a little bit. You're able to tell everyone that the Trout Queen is in the center spire, and that that you've heard rumors that in the Shining Tower that there's some sort of enemy of the Trout folk who lives there. But that being said, Pinalero and Alaron, you guys notice small arcane runes that seem to be etched into parts of the walls. But those lines of runes are interrupted where the walls have been smashed open. So those lines have been broken. Snorri, with your 13, you definitely get the sense that these runes are serving a warding function and that they are warding off this water specifically from entering the room, but that they wouldn't ward off other organic material. You get the sense that if the Fae built this, or if the elves built this castle to go underwater, that they probably built it to repel water as well, or to work with that in different ways. There may even be construction in the castle where the water and the space are sort of go together in a more of a natural form. So at any rate, that's sort of what you do. What would you like to do?
Okay, well, with that information, I will float my way back up, and I think I will return to the material plane uncomfortably close to McGrimsby, kind of by accident. Just, hi. So just so you know, it looks like there's oxygen downstairs. If you want to swim down there, there's, I don't know, it's some sort of magic's keeping the water out from the rest of the castle. That seems like probably the best bet.
Thank you, sir.
Good enough for me.
Thank you. Let's head forward.
Go.
Swim.
Awesome. And your group does. You guys swim down to the ground floor, or rather the floor of the third level that you're on, and sort of swim down those stairs. Some of you pulling yourself along the stairs, some of you are sort of swimming. The same sort of party marching order: Alaron, Pinalero, McGrimsby in the front, Snorri, Callie, Galvanon in the back. And as you guys sort of get to that second floor, indeed, you can see the water stops almost, indeed, by magic. It's just like a straight 45-degree angle line where the water just stops. And Alaron, Pinalero, McGrimsby, you guys have swam up to that. What would you like to do?
Yeah.
You go through. All three of you do,
let's go.
with no ill effect. As you go through, your boodle pops basically sort of give a sort of sound as they sort of like slide off your heads and sort of hit the ground. They're obviously been spent, but you are breathing air. The air is oddly stale and has the scent of water. It's very sort of just wet down here and soggy tasting. It smells a little rotten, especially since the furniture that is around you has been rotting for sure through mildew. But the murals, as I assume everyone else, Callie and Snorri and Shabanon sort of come out, the murals depict elves, fae, in repose. It almost looks like that they are smoking really long pipes, and then they seem to be having some sort of vision or something like that. But the vision you can't really see because it was sort of cut off by where the water has destroyed everything. And you guys see more stairs going downward. But this room seems otherwise empty. No one's in here. You don't see any other furniture. No items that you can see clearly, just obviously. But yeah, that's where you guys
Can you
are.
describe the room layout?
Sure, no problem. My apologies, of course. The room layout actually is very similar to where we already were. I am going to move you guys to another map, basically, and you'll see sort of the second floor map. It's in the same sort of location, that sort of upper left-hand corner, is sort of where we'll be again. And if you guys can find that, you'll see very clearly. It looks like that this room has sort of been ruined. Like the water in here destroyed half of it. The other half has sort of faded and molded over time. As far as you can tell, it doesn't look like this room is used. There are no lights on in here. And in fact, it's very dark. For those of you without dark vision, you're effectively blind as there is no light in here. Would you like to do anything to counteract that?
I can conjure a tiny little candlelight in my hand, so I'll do that.
Cool. And that dim candlelight shows, and your dark vision shows, that this room is probably about 40 feet wide and about 10 feet tall. There are stairs that curl around the side of the circular chamber that go up. They're encased in water, of course, as is half the chamber. The other half, though, is free and is in just the open air, as it were, or in fresh, just air. And you guys can see more stone steps going downwards. Oddly enough, here in this room, especially since Callie now has brought her light, what color is it?
Green.
Green. Your green flame appears. It sparkles off of the interior of this room, where it almost looks like tiny rhinestones have been like baked into the walls. So they're all sparkly and shining, basically, where the murals aren't painted.
I kind of want to sip my potion and inspect these murals a bit more closely.
Cool. So you're taking a potion at this point. You guys
Thanks, McGrimsby.
Could take a short rest if you wanted to.
I'm also going to sip a potion.
You could take a short rest if you wanted to right now and save your potions.
Oh, true. Should we do
like
that?
A fairly
Yeah, sure.
safe place.
We have the time.
Yeah.
Let's do
You
that.
have it would be an hour.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, I'll do that instead.
Cool. You guys can
Same thing,
take
potions.
an hour. You gain all your abilities back that refresh during a short rest, and you can use as many hit dice as you like to regain hit points. Don't forget to add your Constitution modifier on every hit die that you roll.
Cool.
While we take this rest, can I look? I'd just like to look at these murals and see what the contents of them are.
Sure. Yeah. The contents of them are basically, it looks to you like elf and fey forms in repose. They seem to be in contemplation. They seem to be using herbs, smoking them to reach some sort of higher level of consciousness, perhaps the astral plane. But you're not really sure what they're seeing there because the murals have been defaced, basically, by the water.
Okay.
Cool. And Snorri and Pinalero, if you guys reload or reconnect, you lost both your video feeds.
Okay.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So you guys take a short rest. You all feel a lot better. Feel ready to take on Sparkly Town Delight Castle a little bit more.
It's so
Clearly.
sparkly.
I love it.
And so you all have definitely taken that nice short rest.
Cool.
What's next?
Let's go downstairs. I'll take point.
Awesome. you guys do go down the stairs. And you see before you now that you've come to the ground floor, as it were, of the tower. I will actually be moving you to the ground floor map. And the section that you're going to want to look for is going to be more in the sort of top sort of right-hand corner of the map. You guys see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great. You're on the ground floor. In this chamber, which is, again, about 40 feet across and 10 feet tall, very uniform. It also has sparkly walls and sparkly ceiling and sparkly floor, but it also has murals along the walls depicting not only fey creatures and elvish creatures, but people of all different types, dwarves, humans. They all seem to be in repose. They all seem to be smoking these herbs. And you can see the murals here are much more well kept and well preserved. They definitely are having these sort of dreams or these visions after using these herbs, and they are bringing them to some sort of other plane of existence. And on that plane of existence, it seems as if they have met some sort of crab-like creature. And that crab-like creature is incorporated into a piece of art that is the main focus of this chamber. It is, in fact, a statue of a crab that is quite large, about 15 feet tall and 8 feet wide. It is sitting with its legs in a pool of water, actually. The water is very clear. It seems to be very still. As you guys are sort of showing up, you can see it looks like in the statue there is a hole where the mouth would be that it looks like you could like put something into if you needed to.
I inspect the statue.
Cool. What are you doing, Callie?
I'm gonna watch our friend Shawanan, see what he's doing.
Awesome. Make an insight check. Snorri, what are you doing?
I think Snorri's going up to the statue to see like what it's made of and potentially how it was formed.
Cool. The statue?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and make a, I guess you could make a, make a history check. That sounds great. And how about for you, McGrimsby? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same.
Yeah, you have your stone cunning. And for you, Pinot,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I'm also gonna check on. It seems like a good call.
Cool. Then I would love for Alaron and Pinolero to make investigation checks. That's intelligence. And you got a crit, didn't you, Snorri? Well done.
I did. I know
I
the
got
heck about that
15.
statue.
I know that guy. Sweet. So what'd you get, McGrimsby?
12.
12. So McGrimsby, you can definitely tell that that this construction is very old, but very well preserved. You think it probably was created by magic as well. Snorri, you think this thing was dreamed up by the people who are in this room in the past. This room has broken down divans and couches and beanbags like the room above, though they're a little bit better preserved, not as wet or mildewy. You think that this statue was somehow dreamed up during one of their journeys, and that's what's being depicted on the walls here. And even more than that, you think that this statue has some sort of magical capability to it. Alaron, what'd you get on your check?
I got 19.
And what'd you get, Pinolero? Cool. Pinolero? Okay, Alaron, with your 19, you can definitely tell that the statue is one piece.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't look like that it has, it's like made of blocks or different adjoining pieces. It's one solid piece of rock that seems to have been conjured from who knows what, more rock or out of thin air. Magic created this thing. Snorri, you know that obviously as well. But the hole in its mouth is very odd. And as you sort of put your sort of head up there to look at it, you can see with your dark vision that something is moving in there. And it sort of is like poltergeisting out of the hole. And you sort of throw your head back as like this like cha-cha-cha-cha, like this like worm of like watery energy is sort of just like tentacling out of this thing. And it seems like sort of moving around you and surrounding you. Callie, what did you get on your roll, your insight roll?
10.
10. Awesome. Yeah, you're watching Shalbanon. They seem to be really just sort of really nonchalant as they sort of walk over near sort of Pinalero and McGrimsby. And they are sort of are. It's weird. They don't pay attention to what's happening with Alaron because instead they go Shiksa, and they explode in arcane energy as a dimension door swallows both them and Pinalero and McGrimsby, and they are all gone. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
No.
Nah, Shalbanon. Nah, what?
I knew it.
That's quite the cliffhanger.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning
Damn.
in. We will see most of you next week. We won't be having Pinalero or McGrimsby joining us next week, but maybe in the future. We're really excited to have them back. But our core team will definitely be on the stream in the house, as it were. I was your host, Ken Breeze, Burling's Beard. Check us out every Wednesday night. Check out my website for my other projects. We have amazing players that I want you to learn more about. Callie is played by Kelsey. Kelsey, where can we find you if we want more of what you're doing?
You can find me on thearcanelibrary.com. I make these creature cards, free set of 54 of them. I just put them up there as our secret lore, so you can download those. Or on the DM's Guild, just put out an adventure called The Secrets of Skyhorn Lighthouse. It's also free.
Awesome. Thank
Free
you.
stuff.
Alaron is played by Anthony. Anthony, where can we find you if we're looking for more of what you got going on?
Yeah, I do all sorts of art projects. You can find me at anthonylow.com.
Awesome. And Snorri is played by Pat. Pat, where can we find what you got going on?
I guess Twitter's probably the best place, at Pat Cartelli. Or check out my podcast. It's called Repeater. We just released an episode with Adam Wade, who is a wonderful and delightful storyteller. So let me know what you think.
Yay! And Asar playing Pinalero. It's been great to have you on, Asar. Thank you so much. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but glad you could hang in with us. Where can we find you if we want more Asar?
Oh, man. You know what? What you should do? I'm really proud of this one email I just wrote. asar.arr.com, and you'll see it. You'll just see everything. I literally just made genius. I'm a musician. I'm going on tour next week. LA, San Francisco, Brooklyn, Portland, Baltimore. What's up?
What are the tour dates?
Oh, damn! You're gonna have to be.
I know. I'm on you. I'm on you
through my email. August 17th in LA, in San Francisco, September 1st in Brooklyn, September I think 12th in Baltimore. Looking at the first September, it's a work in progress.
Nice.
It's gonna be good.
Well, congrats. That's great. And we also have Tony playing the Grimsby. Oh man, love the character. Thank you so much. Can we find you on the internet, or are you still in the next?
Yeah, if you must. You can find me on Instagram, Tony.spitz. I have some of my D&D playscapes on there if you want to check that out. I've also got, again, I said about this last time, but I have a super secret project that hopefully you'll find out about in the coming months.
Yes, we want you to tell us all about it next time you're on.
It's more exciting if it's a secret.
Exactly, it is. I agree. And speaking of secrets, you totally took the magical dwarven belt with you, McGrimsby.
Oh no!
Totally.
I'll never have a beard.
You'll never have it. Well, maybe one day. Don't never say never on the beard. So I am Burling's Beard. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. We will see you next week. for more Secrets of Hammerfast. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.